Hi Year 1, I hope you're all keeping well and having a good week at home. Yesterday you should have created a new land inspired by the poem The Owl and the Pussycat. I wonder what you did create. I'm going to share with you what I made in school. So here is the land that I created using everyday resources that I found in the classroom. And I wonder if you can see what it is. It's an island, and we know it's an island because an island is a piece of land surrounded by water, and I have used this big bit of blue fabric here to create my water. I've used pasta, sand, shells and stones for my little rock pool. I've got a path leading through my island, and I've made that with 2p coins. I wonder if anybody else used money in their creation. At the back, do you know what this is? It's actually an egg box that I've painted, but it's meant to stand for a mountain range on my island. I wonder if any of you used recyclable materials in your new land. At the back I've got a cave and my tree using kitchen roll holder and some old fencing that I found. So here's my new land. And it's a 3D creation that I made using everyday resources. And today we're going to come together to learn how to put this into a 2D map. I have taken a couple of photos of my creation, a couple of photos from up above like this, and that is going to help me with my map work today. So perhaps you took a photo of yours yesterday as well. If you didn't, don't worry, you can still do the learning. So a map is like a big picture taken from the air. And I'm wondering what sort of maps you've seen or used before. You might like to pause the video now and either think to yourself or talk to somebody. What maps have you seen and used before? I've got a few different maps here to share with you. I've got this map that you have probably all used before. It's a map of Malvern Way School, and we use it when we use the orienteering trail. I bet lots of you have seen this map before. What is it? Yeah, it's a tube map of London, and it shows the stations from the underground trains. Here is a map, a road map from France. Sometimes, especially in the past when people used to go on holiday, they would often use a road map like this that would be kept in the car. You don't see these as often anymore because lots of cars now have sat-navs on them, which is the new style of interactive map that we use. I'm sure lots of your grown-ups have those in their cars. Here's a kind of discovery, a trail map if you want to go on an adventure. I wonder if anyone's used a map like this before to get directions or to find certain places. Here we have a globe. It's not a 2D map, it's a 3D solid shape, but it shows us where the countries are in the world. And I've also got an example of a fantasy Neverland map. Okay, so you can make up maps from stories. And today, I would like you to have another think about what geographical features might you find on a map. You can think of some human features. Human features, remember, these are features that have been man-made, so they've been built and put there. For example, a house or a shop. Perhaps you can have a think of some physical features as well. A river or something that's developed naturally. Have a think now, what might we find on our maps? I'll share a few with you. Some of the human features that we might find are buildings, houses, shops, roads, railways, footpaths. And then some of the natural or the physical features that you might find would be forests, caves, the beach, rivers, the sea. I wonder if you've got any of those on the maps you created. And today we're going to learn to draw an aerial view map of the land that we created. And that would show us what we can see from up above. So if you were flying over the top of your land, what would you see? Okay, so I'm going to show you the two photos that I've taken of my land, and I wonder if you can spot the difference between them. They're both showing the same land, but what is different? You might notice that this one is taken directly above the land or directly above the creation. So we call that an aerial view photo. And this is the photo that is really going to help me today to create my aerial view map. Okay, so I'm going to have a go at transferring this information onto a map, and I'm going to draw the outline first of my island, draw the shape for the sea, and I'm going to try to put all the details in the corresponding place on the map. So, I see. Okay, and I know that outside is the sea, so I'm going to colour that in my blue colour. I'm not going to do all of this while you're watching. I'm going to take my map away in a minute and finish it. But I'm ready for my sea. I also know I need to include this sandy area. So if I look carefully where that is, okay, that's the shape of my sandy area on the map. To make it look as similar to sand as I can, I'm going to colour it in yellow. Trying to colour neatly, all in the same direction. Okay, and to make that look like sand and have the kind of texture similar to sand, I'm going to put a few darker grainy dots on it. I will finish off the rest of the sand later. I also know that I need to include my rock pool area, which is just above the sand. So I need to make it look as similar as I can to the map that I created. So I'm going to draw lots of pebbly shapes. Okay, and I'm going to colour each pebble in a slightly different colour. So some of them are more grey than others. Some of them have a browny kind of colour. Okay, and some of the pebbles are slightly more yellowy orangey. Okay, and again, I will finish those pebbles off in a while. What else can you see on the photo of my map that I need to include? I definitely need to include the mountain range at the back, don't I? Now, you know it's a mountain range because I've told you. I know it might not look much like a mountain range when I draw it, but I still need to try and draw it exactly as it looks in this picture. So I'm going to draw some darker spaces here. Okay, and the rest of my mountain range is a kind of greeny with a bit of brown on it. I've tried hard to make it the same kind of size as the mountain range on this map and in the same place on my map as well. What else can you see that I need to include? I haven't drawn my cave yet, so I'm going to draw that. And when I look at my cave from an aerial view, it looks like a rectangle. or the top of a cylinder shape, doesn't it? When I draw it, it's going to look something similar to this. It actually goes into the sea a bit as well. Okay, and I'm going to colour all of that in black. It might not look exactly like a cave at the moment, but it does look like the cave on my picture, so don't worry, we will come back to that. And last of all, oh no, two more things. I need to do my path that I created using coins. I'm going to make sure I use the same colour, or as close as I can to the 2p coins that I used in my model. And last of all, in the corner here, we have the very important tree, and it looks a bit like this when you look from the top. Okay, going over into the sea again. So I have done the outline of most of my features on my map. I'm going to go and finish my map now, and I will come back when I have finished. You can either pause the video here and go and complete your map, or you might want to watch the rest and finish yours later. Okay, so I have finished my map now. I've finished the colouring in, and I've made it as similar as I can to the land that I created and my photo that I have taken. Now, you might be thinking, because we had this problem in the video earlier, sometimes when you look at something from an aerial view, it's really hard to see what it is. People might not be clear about what it is on a map. And a map does have to be really clear so that everybody understands it. So we have a key often at the side of a map, and I'm going to show you a completed one here. Okay, the key has been filled in, and it tells you what each item is on your map. So if we look at the beach here, their beach is similar to mine. It's a yellow colour with darker grainy bits in it. And here we go, we can see it on our map. All of this yellow area here is beach. The red line here is a road, and I can see the road follows all the way around this island. So the key is like a common language where anyone picking up your map should know what everything is. So when you send your maps in to us on Evidence Me, as long as you have filled in your key carefully, we should know exactly what everything is. The important thing is that whatever it looks like on your map, that's what it looks like in the key. So I'm going to start with the sea to start with. On my map, the sea is all coloured in this dark blue colour, which means that's what it should look like in the key as well. Okay, but I can't just draw it the same. I need to label it as well. I know that a few weeks ago you learnt the E sound in sea, so hopefully you can help me. How do we spell it? That's right. And then the E digraph. I'm writing in felt tip so that you can see what I'm doing, but it's probably a good idea if you write in a neat pencil. The next one, I'm going to do the beach. Remember, I coloured my beach all in this bright yellow colour. And I decided to put a few dots of grainy orange to make it look like the sand. So I'm going to label this as sand on my map. Sand. And already it's becoming clearer for other people to read and understand. The last big area that I have in the middle was this colour green. I've made sure that I chose the light green, the same as the colour that I used on my map. Colour is really important. It wouldn't work if I picked up the dark green and coloured it in dark green because people would be confused with my mountain. So I'm going to label that grass. Okay, so my main areas of sea, sand and grass have been labelled on my key. And now I need to go through and identify all of the other objects. So I'm going to start with my pebbles, I think. Again, I need to make sure I'm using all three of those colours, because if I only use brown like that, it could get confused with my brown path. So in the key, I need to make sure it looks as similar as possible with the same colours. Oh, it's the grey colour that's missing. Here we go. Okay, and at the beach, they are my rock pools. So rock, rock. Which k sound is it? It's the digraph, isn't it? After a short vowel sound. Rock, rock, pools. Ooh, ooh. Rock pools. And now I'm going to draw my path, but I'm going to make sure it looks different to my rock pools. Okay. Just 3 more items to go. I'm going to draw my cave next. Again, it has to look exactly the same colour and the same shape as the cave that I had on my map. Which A sound does it use? We know AI, AY and split digraph A. Do you know which one it is? It is the split digraph, cave. Now my mountain range, I need to try to draw that. I'm going to draw it at the same angle, trying to draw exactly the same shapes as I used on my map so that nobody gets confused when they are looking for the mountain range. I don't want them to confuse it with the grass. And the rest is coloured in the dark green colour. Okay, so they are the mountains. Oh, we're using lots of the phonic sounds that you have learnt recently. Ow, mountains. Oh, and the together to make the ow sound. And the last thing that I haven't included yet is my tree that looks a little bit like this. The aerial view, that was what my tree looked like in the map that I created. And now you can see when my key is complete and it matches the pictures in my map, it's really clear to see what everything is. So we really look forward to seeing your maps and keys on Evidence Me. Enjoy your work, geographers, and please send them in. Bye-bye.